More cracks in the PDP as Governor Samuel Ortom curses, says Atiku can go on without him. Enough of it. Labour Party Peter Obi tells Atiku and Tinubu says he no longer share podium with their representatives. Fresh terror alert. UK warns citizens to avoid certain states in Nigeria. Also coming up in Politics HQ, not 20, not 30, 40 years on the throne, 89-year-old Cameroon President Paul Biya is celebrating. Tension as DR Congo fighter jet violates Rwandan airspace. And also joining me tonight, Catch Onanuju, Special Advisor to Peter Obi on Public Affairs and Director General, the Heritage Center. Mahdi Shehu, Chairman Dialogue Group, will be joining me as he unpacks and tells us what he thinks about Ortom's bombshell on Atiku. Stay with us here on PHQ. Well, it's election time or election journey here in Nigeria. Quite a lot happening in the space, even as people say this space needs to be cleaned up. But again, it looks like it's getting dirtier and getting messier as someone in politics and a governor has already said some of the HE, and you can actually feel in that to someone. I'll call for that. Perhaps let's see what Governor Ortom has said about a candidate in his own party just recently.
Just this week, 18 people were killed from my local government. Innocent people, farmers. I went to teaching hospital. A young man, barely in his 20 years, his two eyes were plucked by Fulani herdsmen. And they sent him a message to tell me that as long as I maintain the prohibition of open grazing, they will continue to do this. Another man's hand was chopped. He's still in the teaching hospital. You can go there and see him. And you want me to be celebrating Fulani men? To hell with Atiku and any other Fulani man who says I should make it. And any man supporting Atiku here and all that is an enemy. I want this to be known.
Mahdi Shehu, how dirty or otherwise can politics be in Nigeria? I'm sure you must have seen that before. What was your initial reaction when you saw that from a man who's of the same political party with your candidate?
Well, good evening. My immediate reaction or reactions are as follows. Number one, those who are conversant with the writings of Chinua Achebe, they will remember that Chinua Achebe said in a proverb, if you see an old woman dancing in the middle of the bush without hearing the drama, without seeing the drama, if you don't know the drama, and you don't hear the music of the drama, the woman knows the drama, and she knows the music, and she knows the rhythm she is dancing to. Number two, the same arrow of God, the same Chinua Achebe said, the power of a child over the ownership of a goat that is said to be his can only be known the day the goat is slaughtered and when he sees the portion of meat given to him. In other words, Ortom is dancing to a drum, is dancing to a music. We don't know the drama, we don't know the music, but certainly Ortom does know the drama and he knows the music he's dancing to. Number two, Ortom will only come to realize the import and the export and the implication and the consequences, and perhaps, if any, the benefit of this is outpouring. Number three, you see, it is from the gratitude of the heart. It is from the grace of the heart. It is from the venom of the heart. It is from the meekness of the heart or the generosity of the heart that the mouth speaks. When an elder like Ortom speaks venom full of bile, full of Tylene.
Well, anyway, I think let me quickly comment here, Mahdi Shehu. That being said, one of the key things we must also, explore today on the HQ is to quickly ask the question, some of the key concerns that Ortom has said. He's seen his people being maimed, killed, brutalized, by an ethnic, people that he so, openly identified as Fulanese. And I'm quite sure you've spoken, you've treated quite a number of things concerning, issues of security around Benue and some other places. What do you think, what do you know about some of these concerns of Governor Ortom?
Well, number one, when there are security challenges facing a nation or facing a state or facing a country, it is not about lumping the entire blame of an ethnic group. He is profiling the entire Fulanis as responsible for the breakdown of law and order of security challenges in Benue. Far from that, there is a linear relationship between the failure of governance and security issue. There is a relationship between the behavior
Well, I'm afraid we really can't hear. Mahdi Shehu, if you can hear me, there seems to be a glitch in your connection to us here in the studios. And perhaps if you can hear me, I'd like to get a confirmation from you. But if you can't, perhaps we need to reconnect to you and get this sorted. Mahdi Shehu has been speaking. He's the chairman of the Dialogue Group and, of course, a strong supporter of Atiku Abubakar's presidential aspiration. Can you hear me now, Mahdi?
Not quite, it's blurred. I can't hear you well.
No, I can hear you, but if you can hear me, I'd like you to complete your train of thoughts on what you were saying so that we can actually move on.
Let me continue and say that in a state where the governor cannot pay salaries as at and when due, he cannot pay gratuities as at and when due, he cannot pay pension as at and when due, his health care is in shambles, education is in shambles, and all these things are directly, indirectly, and tangentially related to security. He cannot transfer his degree of failure and use it to profile ethnic groups. Not only am I saying this, there are 6 other groups outside the TIF that are in Benue State. And these 6 groups, Ortom cannot claim to be speaking for them. He cannot claim to be speaking for the Igalas. No, can he claim to be speaking for the Idomas? He may be speaking partially for the Tips. He may not be speaking for all the other tribes. In other words, if there is a referendum today about Ortom in Benue State, preponderance opinion of people who will participate in the referendum will condemn him as the most unfulfilling governor in the history of Benue State, the most drill governor in Benue State, the most unperforming governor of Benue State, and unfortunately, the most vocal voice out of nothing is an empty barrel. Number 4.
Mahdi Shehu, how empty can concerns of a sitting governor who is a minute here, Mahdi Shehu, how empty can a concern of a sitting governor who is also a member of the People's Democratic Party be when he's openly still saying that he will not give his support to his party's candidate, until this moment, nothing from your party's hierarchy has moved to address that concern and from Governor Ortom.
Let us go down memory lane. The same Ortom, during COVID-19, when Atiku donated 50 million naira to Benue State, he said, and I quote him, "You have proved to the Benue State people that you are indeed the great shelter of Benue." When Atiku donated 50 million naira to IDPs, and I'm quoting Ortom, Ortom said, "You have done exactly what a shelter is supposed to do." But the same Ortom also said that Fulani men that are terrorizing Benue people are not Fulani men that are coming out. I understand they are coming from outside. They are not the local Fulanis of Nigeria. The same Ortom said that ban near to Allah, a call to Mr. President. What I make out of this statement is that he is contradicting himself. In the morning, he is Ortom. Tomorrow, in the evening, he is a Pharisee. In the morning, he preaches the Bible. In the evening, he preaches hate. Against all the teachings of Christ, he is teaching hate, sending venom. Against what? Against Matthew chapter 23, verse 25. What does it say? It says, "Woe to the teacher of the law and the Pharisee. You hypocrite, you are like the whitewashed member, which look beneficial from the outside, but on the inner side are full of dead men's bone and everything unclean." Ortom portrays the face of Moses, but is hanging the heart of Pharaoh.
If that's what Governor Ortom is, how difficult? Why is it so? Let me bring this in, Mahdi Shehu. Okay, Mahdi Shehu, quickly here. How difficult is it for for the People's Democratic Party to address this? Should Ortom still be a member of the PDP in an election year?
We have seen a PDP member being a Judas. A Judas is somebody who is from within, but inflicting injury from within.
Isn't that because the PDP is weak?
He's inflicting injury on PDP because of his personal failure. I am not a PDP person.
No, Mahdi, you know we have so many other issues to touch on quickly here. I want you to address this. Time was when any politician would be expelled, suspended, expelled from the party, and this what they say amounts to anti-party activity. If the PDP still got the muscle, how is it that the PDP till this moment hasn't said anything about Samuel Ortom, about Nyesom Wike, and about the governor of Oyo State in southwest of Nigeria, Seyi Makinde?
For me, there is no point suspending or dismissing Ortom from PDP. For me, he has already suspended himself. For me, he has already dismissed himself out of PDP. For me, he has shown that he is an old man in confusion, under illusion, under delusion, an old man who is facing mental derailment that requires a lot of prayers in the church, and he requires a lot of psychiatric intervention and psychiatric help.
Mahdi Shehu, now you've gone to talking about age, and when you talk about age and old men, the candidate of the PDP you supporting is an old man. The candidate of the APC is also an old man. Are you saying old men shouldn't run?
No, the difference between Tinubu and Atiku are that Atiku is mentally and physically alert. He is healthy. He is fully oriented to time, people, and places. He has no history of any mental challenges. As against Tinubu, who physically you see him mistreating and able to control
when you say that you're not a medical Mahdi Shehu, you're not a medical doctor. Mahdi Shehu, you're not a medical doctor. On one hand, Mahdi Shehu, a minute, let me come in here. On one hand, Mahdi Shehu, you spoke negatively about people on account of their age. And on the other hand, you're also exonerating or excusing your candidate. Now, quickly, tell us here, the First Lady recently granted an interview with an international broadcaster in Hausa language. And I'm sure you followed that interview, Mahdi Shehu.
I did.
So,
I did.
What did you get? Because there was something that many Nigerians have been talking about, that particular interview, which ultimately may affect the coming elections in Nigeria.
Yes, I saw the First Lady's interview in Hausa, in which she was apologizing on behalf of APC and on behalf of her husband for being unable to meet the expectations of Nigerians. The first question that came into my mind is that it is the same First Lady who was accusing her husband years back, who was accusing the cabals that have hijacked her husband's responsibility in the villa. It is the same First Lady who was saying that they have failed. 4 years ago, she said APC is a failure. It is the same lady who said in the villa, after budgeting billions of naira for the villa clinic, there is no paracetamol. What has changed within the last 2 years? If her apology is correct, why is she accepting to be the woman leader for the APC's campaign of 2023, having admitted that the party has failed to meet up with the expectations of people? My take is that if you are given the leader of a campaign of a major party, APC, along with that appointment, there must be a huge budgetary provision. Maybe, probably, perhaps, I suspect that is inducing the First Lady to look the other way, other than the way that we all know how to be. In any event, why is she apologizing when there is a total failure in education? Already she is lucky her children have been educated in the best schools abroad. I thought she would be apologizing for that when millions of children have been out of school for the last 7 months. I thought she would be apologizing that the entire health sector under her husband has failed completely and collapsed at a time when her husband, herself, and her children, and the ministers, and all other senior government functionaries are able to afford health care comfortably outside Nigeria. I thought she would be apologizing for the dilapidated roads across Nigeria, roads that she don't follow because they fly official government planes wherever they are going to.
And
Mahdi, she be apologizing for insecurity because she is secured in the villa while other people are extremely vulnerable.
And Mahdi, listening to you talking about is specifically education and a few others, don't you think the elite, the political elite, the elected elite, owe Nigerians such apology? And so far, the First Lady should be commended. Your party's candidate isn't a first-timer in power. He also has a share in what Nigerians are going through. Isn't it, criminal in a way for anyone to think?
They said,
a minute. Isn't it?
They said PDP. They said PDP.
A minute, Mahdi Shehu. Mahdi Shehu, you have to let me put this in.
They said PDP is bad in 2015, and they voted PDP out. At the time they voted PDP out, if you compare 2015 to date, Nigerians were more secured under Jonathan than we are now. Our economic status was more humane under Jonathan than we are now. The Naira had more value under Jonathan than we are now. Your education is given more attention than we are now. If people say there are stealing under PDP, there is extra cumulative geometric volume of stealing under APC now. Remember, just within 9 years, crude oil worth over 289 trillion naira was stolen in Nigeria. These figures are coming not from PDP. They are coming from NNPC, GMD. They are coming from OPEC. They are coming from Chief of Defense Staff. They are coming from various official sources.
Mahdi Shehu, let's wind down. Yes. Mahdi Shehu, let's wind down. Mahdi Shehu,
far away cry from Alibaba and 40 tips.
Mahdi Shehu, you have to let me come in here. Let's wind down, and it has to do with the temperament of politicians, you inclusive, Ortom inclusive, and many other politicians. At what point do you think Nigerians will start seeing politicians becoming more civil and attacking issues with facts and information, data, to the benefit of the electorate, especially as they move towards the election? Mahdi Shehu.
It will only happen at a time when we begin to do personality audit and we begin to identify people who are credible, who are responsible, with well-known genealogy and background, and they are being considered for office not on account of the quantum of money they have, but on account of their integrity. As long as we continue to hinge Nigerian politics on quantum of money, as long as we continue to hinge Nigerian politics on ethnicity, on tribalism, originalism, for that long we'll continue having smart Alex presiding over Nigeria, hiding under the umbrella of religion, under the umbrella of region, under the umbrella of tribe, to continue perpetrating large-scale fraud in wholesale and retail to the total exclusion of everybody. And very sadly, the more you steal, the more you are celebrated in your own community.
And at what point, Mahdi Shehu, will your candidate apologize to Nigerians over his ethnic slur when he said Nigerians don't want a president from any other part of the country but the north?
No, he never said so. I heard what he said. I was there when he spoke. He said, in the trying moment we are now in Nigeria, Nigerians don't require an Igbo president. That is, a president that is championing Igbos. They don't require an Igbo president or a Yoruba president, a man that is championing the agenda of Yorubas, but they require a pan-Nigeria. This is exactly what he said. A pan-Nigeria is somebody who believes in Nigeria, who believes in the unity of Nigeria, who believes in the oneness of Nigeria. When a Ferry gives 11-point agenda and conditions to Tinubu, they are saying that you are Yoruba president. When Obi is looking away, each time IFOP killed DSS, they killed the police, they killed the army, they killed the navy, they killed civil defense, they banned INEC, they banned police stations. Obi looked away and said they are not terrorists. Do you require any evidence to show that he's a regional person? Atiku is the only person who believes in Nigeria, who believes in one Nigeria, who loves Nigeria, and who is out to unite Nigeria. Show me any better candidate.
Mahdi Shehu, many thanks for being with us here on Politics HQ.